TwitchCon 2025 takes place over this weekend. And in the lead up to that, you had people like Asmongold, specifically Asmongold, telling women, hey, you might want to not go to TwitchCon this year. Criticizes Twitch CEO over safety concerns. Now, the safety concerns in question are about a lot of different things, including it's no one's to blame but Twitch themselves, because Twitch has decided to cultivate a community on Twitch, which is essentially all left-wing political activist, crazy fucking people. That's who it is, and that's who the vast majority of their fans are. As it turns out, Asmongold was right to be concerned about safety, because these are the headlines that came out. Popular streamer Emiru assaulted at TwitchCon, says event security let the guy walk away. Emiru accuses con staff of joking about how they didn't even see what happened in a lengthy statement. And this is the streamer in question, and I have to be very honest, just like the majority of streamers out there I'm probably not familiar with. I know the name vaguely, but I can't say I've ever watched anything with her in it. I can't say I really know what she talks about or anything. But this is her doing a meet and greet. And look, we've done a lot of different meetups with Geeks and Gamers, with Nerdrotic, people from the Fellowship, all of that. We've done a lot of that stuff before. And certainly it's a little bit different than TwitchCon, which is massive. But we've done plenty of meet and greets. We do things like this all the time. It's very different when you're a man meeting fans than when you're a female that's meeting fans. I'll say that right up front. And luckily, I've never really had any issues with somebody getting a little too crazy or whatever in a line. However, sometimes this is what can happen. Now, this dude who was just walked past a bunch of security people, a bunch of different things, because this is the person who's doing the meet and greet. There's people in line. You have your turn. You have your opportunity. Take a picture, talk for a little bit, all that stuff. This dude just walks up, grabs her, and attempts to kiss her. Okay? And somebody has to come up and shove him. Now, I heard reports that this isn't even Twitch security. That's her person that's there that noticed and shoved this motherfucker and kind of got him to go away. But obviously, she gets taken back very quickly. I think that was her person as well. Not Twitch staff, not anybody like that. This is fucking nuts, right? This is nuts. And she's obviously spoken out about this. And what's even crazier, because things like this, unfortunately, can happen when you get a bunch of people and security is a little bit lax or whatever. The response from Twitch is under a lot of fire as well. Fans called to shut down TwitchCon after shocking attack on streamer Emiru. And although they put out a statement and fucking Dan Clancy's retarded old ass, this fucking boomer retard queer, this dude who just wants to be like a popular kid or something, that's who your Twitch CEO is. He says, we're looking very closely at everything that happened. I care deeply about Emiru. She's a friend of mine, so I want to see how we can support her. Well, that's interesting, because when you actually listen to him speak, it almost seemed like he blamed some of that on the streamer. Now, this is Taylor Lorenz interviewing him. What a fucking loser. It's 2025, you stupid old bitch. You don't need a mask anymore. And you never really did. But listen to this.
And others. Obviously, we saw one Twitch streamer yesterday, Emiru, get assaulted by a male fan. And a lot of streamers have, especially female streamers, have talked about, the danger that they feel from these sort of toxic, I guess, parasocial kind of creeps. What are you guys doing to prioritize safety? Because I know also a bunch of Twitch content creators said that they were too scared to even come to TwitchCon this year, just in case something like what happened yesterday would happen.
The safety of our creators is the top priority. The challenge we face is a challenge in today's society. It's not limited to Twitch. It extends throughout our society. I do think that when you're live streaming, in many ways, since you control your community and you can ban people, you can make it so that those people that you don't want engaging with you and participating with you aren't there. Okay, it's very different. When I use other short form content and people say all sorts of stuff, of, well, I can't stop that. But when I live stream, they basically don't bother me. Now, what happened yesterday obviously was something that we care deeply about, securing this environment. You know, we're looking very closely at everything that happened there, and I care deeply about Emmy. She's a friend of mine, and so I want to see how we can support her. This is just.
And like, you listen to what he said, when you're a live stream, you can really like cultivate and control your community a little bit. That feels like you're pushing blame onto somebody, right? Because of the thousands of people that someone may have watching them at a time. And I don't know what her average viewers is. I'm not sure. I couldn't tell you that. But obviously, she's very popular. The thousands of potential people that you might have following you or commenting or whatever. You can really curate your community and make sure that these things don't happen. Fuck off, dude. Like, absolutely fuck off. And what was Twitch's response after this happened? Did they ban the dude? Well, they had to. Let's look at Twitch's response, and then we'll actually look at the community note. Twitch, the safety and security of those attending TwitchCon is our highest priority. Behavior displayed by the individual involved in the incident yesterday was completely unacceptable and deeply upsetting. In line with the existing TwitchCon security protocols, law enforcement and event security were on site and responded to the incident. We immediately blocked this individual from returning to TwitchCon premises, and they are banned indefinitely from Twitch, both online and in-person events. We're coordinating with impacted creators team and per our standard protocols, continue to cooperate with any law enforcement investigations. Now, apparently this guy hasn't been actually punished by law enforcement. There's nothing out there, so who knows if they're being genuine about that or not. We have increased security at the meet and greet attendant check-in point. We'll have additional security personnel. Well, thanks. Here's the community note. Twitch allowed the assailant to walk originally and was only pressed to apprehend him after Emiru's manager pushed for it. The individual was allowed to walk originally. Twitch allowed the assailant to bypass several barriers and creator lines. Here's Emiru's tweet on this. And she put out a lengthy statement about this, being critical of Twitch and everything they did. And then guess what? Guess what? Apparently, their initial response to this, per Emiru, and we're going to listen to what she says, was to give him a 30-day Twitch ban. 30 days. That was the punishment for this dude.
I've been talking to Twitch people, and I'm really upset because I noticed a lot of negligence around the event, and I'm not happy with the way that they're handling it now. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's like, well, I asked them, what are they going to do about this? And you know what they said initially? They said, oh, well, he's banned from the platform for 30 days. What? And then she's obviously like, hello? Like, that needs to be indefinite. What the fuck are you talking about? Also, that's nothing to do with anything. No one gives a fuck if he's banned on Twitch or not.
And that's so what? So they had to be pushed to actually ban him on the platform. And here's her whole post talking about this. And like I said, things are very different if I go to a creator meetup or something like that than if a female, especially a prominent female streamer, does. There are differences between men and women. I know a lot of you woke freaks, a lot of you degenerate fucks refuse to believe that and think that, well, whatever you put in your profile is what you're... There's differences between men and women, and there are differences between men and women when they go to massive social gatherings like this. Certainly, security needs to be far more on point for something like that for a female creator than it does for me. This is what she says. Hello, everyone. I'm okay. Thank you for all the kind messages. Sorry I can't respond. Yesterday, the man who assaulted me was allowed to cross multiple barriers, even in front of other creators meet and greet, to grab me and my face and try to kiss me. Fortunately, he wasn't able to, but a lot of people pointed out could have been a lot worse. I'm shaken up, and it's not the first time I've had to deal with something like this, but to tell you honestly, I'm a lot more hurt and upset how Twitch handled it during and after the fact. I don't understand why he's allowed to make it to me in the first place. The security in the clip who reacts is my own security. And even though her favorite and usual security guard was banned for holding a stalker's arm to bring him to police at a past TwitchCon, so these things happen at TwitchCon, and they wouldn't let her security guard, who saved her from a stalker last time, go there. However, there are at least 3 or 4 other TwitchCon security staff in the area who did not react and let the guy walk away, as you can see in the clip, since they don't even appear in the frame. The woman who's walking me away is my own personal manager. Behind the booth, my only two friends who were checking on me and comforting me were her and my friend. None of the Twitch staff came to ask what happened or if I was okay. My friend who was present told me Twitch security were also behind the booth afterwards, joking about how they didn't even see what happened and immediately laughing and moving on to talking about something else. Now, I do think that you're going to be super hypersensitive to everything that happens if something like this happens to you and all of that. But there's no question, right? In Twitch's statement, they said the guy was immediately caught and detained. I'm sorry, it's a blatant lie. He was allowed to walk away from a meet and greet, and I didn't hear he was caught until hours after he attacked me. And I feel like it only happened because my manager pressing for it, not because TwitchCon staff present thought it was a big deal. And this is what I'm saying. There's no doubt that Twitch massively fucked up this entire thing. From their CEO going out there and saying, well, you really have control of your community when you live stream, but I really care for her. She's a friend to me. She's really important to me. Security failed at every level. They didn't even fucking do anything in the aftermath of this guy until we were pushed for hours and hours. And after this blew up and went viral. And then even then, they were only going to ban him for 30 fucking days on Twitch. That was their suggested punishment. But I'm sure, and she went out and she'd streamed about it and she talked about it. That's where we got this clip from. But it's fucking crazy. I think that, look, I've streamed on Twitch before for a while. I streamed on Twitch. It's been a very long time. But the people that, for the most part, one of the reasons that Twitch has such a bad reputation right now is because of what they allow their creators to get away with and what they've been pushing constantly for like years and years and years. And it's pushed a lot of normal people off of their platform and towards other platforms. Now you have a moment like this in the aftermath of Asmongold, literally telling women to stay away because of security concerns. And then this happens. And of course, Asmongold has something to say. He wrote a diatribe in response here, right? Last year at TwitchCon, Nimplal, I don't even know how to say these, or Wake Wilder were sexually assaulted live and on camera. Twitch made no statement and pretended like this didn't happen. That type of behavior is disgusting, wrong, has no place. Anyone with a brain knew if this happened to a female creator anytime, Twitch's response would have been completely different. Anyone with a brain had that proven last night. To me, this proved an undeniable cynical reality. Twitch doesn't care about sexual assault. They care about the optics of sexual assault. If they had cared, they would have approached it with men in the same way, because the guys that got assaulted last year. This proves their motives are driven by optics rather than principle. Under that reasoning, could be assumed that Twitch would allow the same thing to occur this year. Why wouldn't they? They got away with it last year. Even now, Twitch refuses to apologize to Emiru or even name her. Innocuous to the uninitiated, but obvious to the informed. Right? That's fucking crazy. And he did say, this is today, a couple hours ago, crazy to me, Twitch just straight up lied about protecting creators from sexual violence, and there's a video evidence that proves it. The fact an Amazon-owned company actively tried to cover up sexual assault should be a lot bigger story than it is. Well, it's a pretty big story, and I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon.